All right, so this is our review of Men in Black International. Mark, first thoughts?
The movie was it was just a movie. It was a plain movie. I was irritated at first.
What were you irritated with?
I'm gonna
You're
get to
getting
that.
there. All right,
Yeah,
all right.
I was gonna finish my sentence and then you cut me off.
No,
So
I was just helping you.
I'm in the middle of this.
I was leading
now.
you through the process.
I am going to throw you out the window. I was a little irritated at first because I thought the movie was trying to be too similar to the first Men in Black with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So this van next to us just started, and I looked over and there was no one in the car, and I was like, wait, you can do that now. But I just, I looked over where's that van going?
It's funny because we saw this guy walking
No,
this
I
way.
thought he was,
And then now that you say that, and I look over and it's empty, now I want to know where that guy went.
Right? Oh my gosh, we're sorry, people.
He's in the car next to it.
Right? I looked over and I was like, wait, he's not in there. What just happened?
That's hilarious.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. No. Oh, I thought that little kid was about to get another driver's seat.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Okay, sorry. We're going to be professional now.
That's hilarious. So, I thought the movie was going to try to be just like the first Men in Black movie. And it began that way. However, it was a truncated version of it. So there's this fish out of water person who is unorthodox and doesn't really fit into the mold of the MiB as presented in the legacy films. But her story is also kind of quick and rushed. She is visited by an alien while she's asleep. Well, she isn't visited. Her house is visited. Her parents see this alien. They get neuralized.
And don't tell too much. I mean, just in case people want to watch the movie.
We ruined
Dark
Phoenix
that's
immediately.
We talked about every single thing in that movie. Okay.
So her parents get neuralized because of this alien. This alien is in her bedroom on her dresser. Hold on. So just like in the previous one when I was talking and I was like, hold on, why can she breathe in space? Get ready. Why was she not neuralized?
No, yeah, I thought that too. Okay, so
is it a proximity thing?
So her parent. Oh, why didn't that specific thing neuralize her? I don't know. Maybe the glass or something. I have no
there
idea.
was no glass. The window was open.
Oh, it was open.
Yeah, and she moved the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that, but I also thought her parents said we have a child in the house.
Asleep.
I would have been, for safe measure, for something that is this sophisticated with their secrecy, I would have been like, no.
Here's the thing,
we're gonna wake this girl up and we're gonna shoot her in the face.
They weren't sophisticated.
Yeah, that's true.
In this movie,
that's true.
They were really dumb. They were really dumb.
I mean, so I'm not. I will say I'm not a fan of the original Men in Black series, and I also don't remember it that well. But I remember that I don't like it. Anyways, I liked this movie because I felt that it was a lot different. It was lighter. And it was less goofy because Will Smith wasn't in it, and that's always a plus for me. But anyways, all right, go.
Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson.
Yes.
I like both of those actors.
Yes.
However, we literally just saw Avengers.
Yeah.
If they had two other people, this movie would have played differently.
Because, see, I liked them, and I liked that they were in it, but you're right. It was like, oh, okay, I'm watching this non-Marvel movie that has two Marvel characters that interact with each other quite a lot in the Marvel series. And so
there's a MacGuffin in this movie that looks like a Tesseract.
Yeah, okay, thank you for bringing that up. There are actually multiple movies that I've seen recently that have Tesseract like objects in them, but this one especially and especially the fact that it was like the key to fixing everything. Also, so there was it turned into that blue thing, but it was purple at first, which to me is like the Power Stone.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're doing a lot of crossover here right now.
Also, when you went to the bathroom and that scene with the hammer.
Yeah.
Well,
I saw that.
Oh,
I was standing at the bottom.
Did you see him grab for it and try to like, hey, Maul,
yeah, no, I saw that.
Really movie.
I literally, and the funny thing is, like, I raced back from the bathroom just so I didn't miss anything, and that was the part that, like, this part that I didn't want to see at all was the part that I was racing back to.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. So the movie tries to throw a lot of red herrings at you as far as who the villain's going to be. This movie also had a villain problem. I think it may have been worse than Dark Phoenix because the movie sets up why things are happening. However, and I guess this may just be racist, but I couldn't understand what they were saying as far as the aliens' names.
Oh,
so they
yeah,
was
me
like,
neither.
this alien race wants to do something because this alien
Oh,
race...
but you couldn't follow it. Yeah, no, me too. Because when when she talks to her friend at the end, her blue friend, she says Taranchian or whatever. And so I thought that was like the ugly blue guy from the beginning. I thought that was his species. It didn't click to me that was her little friend from the beginning. Because the last blue person I saw was that other guy. I had forgotten she met that thing, which I guess was the point. But yeah, that just lends credence to what you were saying about the fact that we couldn't follow the names.
So all these things are happening because blah blah blah, but I didn't care that those things were happening because there was no consequence to those things happening. Like, there were no stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that happened, what would that mean for that race of people? What would it mean for Earth? What would it mean for the universe? There was nothing happening as a result of whatever the plot was saying was going on.
I'll also say, so you were talking about the villain problem being similar. The villains were almost the exact same villains from Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
And they kind of had the same power. They would replace someone and then pretend to be them, except for it was like less sophisticated in this movie because they didn't have, because like in Dark Phoenix, which I liked, they had like a full-on system of people who were kind of like going around and like they had an established organization on Earth, whereas these looked like just two rogue people who were just kind of going around. They didn't speak or anything really until the end. So that was something I didn't quite like as much.
This villain, well, they weren't even the villain. That actually doesn't get resolved.
Yeah.
H and M have a discussion about what if they needed that weapon against...
Oh, I think... Okay, so have you seen the movie Ender's Game?
No.
Okay, well, other people listening to this have. So, in Ender's Game, that movie is about a hive-minded species coming and attacking Earth. So, what happens at the end is all of them, like the military that was combating them, goes to their planet to stop them from ever coming back to Earth again. They lie to the kid that they have like heading the thing, and they basically they get him to destroy their whole planet because he thinks it's a simulation. And so then they tell him afterwards, like, no, you just genocided that whole planet. But then he finds out, he talks to like a little baby queen of like the hive-minded species, and he finds out that they were just trying to like repopulate another planet because their planet was dying and stuff like that. And so then he takes the little baby that she has, because she dies. He takes her little baby, and like the end of the movie is him going to find another place for it. So I think that was kind of a similar thing to what they were doing here, is they were saying like, oh, this race of people is kind of like doomed because we just killed them, even though they were just trying to protect their home. They didn't really go into it, but I think anyone who's seen Ender's Game would probably like make that connection.
Wait, hold on. That nebula looking thing came to Earth, killed this guy, made a copy of him and walked
Yeah.
around as twins.
Mm-hmm.
They were after that weapon.
Yeah.
And when they were about to get it, the MIB killed them. But we don't know why. It didn't say why that Nebula who created these two people, why they were after it. There was one line in the script.
I think we were just supposed to accept that one line and just assume that they were right and then just be done.
No.
I'm not saying they should have done that, but that's what they did.
I know.
Gotcha.
But that doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't give me any information.
It told me enough. Like,
what did it say?
They said.
Who were they fighting?
What do you mean?
They needed the weapon.
Yeah,
against the Hive.
They needed the weapon.
But who are they?
Who was the Hive?
Yeah. What's the Hive gonna do?
Well, the Hive was the people who took over Liam Neeson's body.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to fight that thing.
Oh, okay.
That's all you need to know.
But why were they in the movie then?
Because you're saying that didn't need to be a plot point at all.
If it didn't,
no,
if that was all, what was the point? But
that was what drove the whole movie. Otherwise, they would have been fighting the Hive the whole time, which they wanted that twist at the end.
There was no twist.
It was a small twist. It was like a little curl.
No, it was stupid. It was really dumb. It was a plot line.
No, but I think
didn't go anywhere.
The point with that plot line though is I think that they were wanting to keep the Hive a secret. They were wanting to keep Liam Neeson's attachment to the Hive a secret.
Here's the problem. I'm an adult, so you can't just present an idea, a really stupid idea, really easy to comprehend idea. Like, oh, we got you. No, you didn't.
They weren't. I don't think they were trying.
You're wasting my time, movie.
I don't think that they were trying to be super surprising. I think that was just the plot device they wanted to go.
I know, and it was stupid. Is
no,
what I'm saying.
It was. But
That's
I'm just saying. No, I guess my point
it didn't serve a purpose. There's no defending that.
Okay. I'm not going to try to defend it necessarily.
Okay.
I'm just going to explain.
You don't have to explain it.
I'm just going to explain how I saw it. That's all I'm saying. It's not a defense. But I think that there was resolution. It just wasn't like it was. Okay, it was resolution to a problem that didn't need to exist.
Hold on. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't resolved. I'm going to explain it one more time.
Okay.
This Nebula comes to Earth, kills this guy, assumes his body, makes a copy of him, and now there are two of this person walking around. They are presented as an evil force who is after this other character who has this weapon.
Mm-hmm.
They find this person who, coincidentally, the MIB is trying to protect from an unknown threat, turns out to be this Nebula.
Mm.
This Nebula reaches this person, kills this person because they are after the weapon this person has. The second act of the movie, I'd say the majority of the second act of the movie, is these two people chasing after the two MIB agents who now have this weapon because they recovered it from the dead body that was just killed by this Nebula. Up until this point, we don't know why these two things, these Nebula, wants this weapon. We still don't know.
But we do know.
We don't. We haven't been told that yet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, some other things happen. The MIB agents find another lead because the weapon is stolen from them and taken to an arms dealer. They go to this island to meet this arms dealer to try to confront her and try to take the weapon back. There's a fight. There's an action set piece. They get the weapon back, and they are standing on the edge of the cliff as if they've just won. But the Nebula comes in its form of the two people, and there's a standoff. And the Nebula says to the MIB agents, "We need this weapon for the Hive. Now, the movie tries to insinuate they are working for the Hive. They need that weapon as if they're bounty hunters or they are the Hive or a part of the Hive, and they're going to take this weapon to them because that was their job. However, another team of MiB agents shows up and destroys this nebula. Okay, and then that's the end of the nebula. They're gone. The MiB go back to headquarters. Things seem a little weird because people are looking funny. Liam Neeson's Agent T, his face looks weird. Agent C, he says a bunch of weird things. Everybody's trying to figure out something. Something strange is in the air. H and M meet in the middle of this floor. Like the store.
Right, thank you. I'm glad that you picked up because I was going to keep it to myself. But I was like, okay.
That's hilarious. H and M come together and they say just that. Hey, something doesn't feel right. Something's weird. Do you remember what the nebula said that before they died? What if we need this weapon for the Hive? And then M says, what if they need it to fight against the Hive? That is the end of that plot line. To me, there was all of this buildup. I just described that plot line and it's been 6 minutes. The resolution for that plot line was 2 lines of dialogue.
Okay. Now I see what you're saying.
I don't. Why do that?
Yeah.
And then it's literally not mentioned again.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, because they didn't need to do that. Like they could have been the Hive the whole time, and it would have been fine.
It would have been the same thing.
Yeah, it would have been the exact same story. Okay.
And to your point, when you said it was a resolution to a plot that didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true too.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be there, period. But I'm not satisfied with the movie calling that the resolution.
Gotcha.
I guess that's really what's bothering me.
Okay.
It's like, why would you? It was. I spoke for 6 minutes, but it was probably 20 minutes of movie time. Like,
yeah.
It didn't need to be there. So
no,
that's all I was saying.
It was more than 20 minutes. They carried that throughout, the whole story. But yeah, so you mentioned the arms dealer. Her name was Riza. So I would like to talk about her. What did you think of her? And not just her, but her relationship with Agent H.
The movie introduces her. No, they introduce her, but not by name.
Yeah.
They give you the backstory of Agent H's previous relationship with an arms dealer. And he gets teased about it by Agent C. And they kind of that scene actually gets cringy and it goes on too long.
Yeah,
that joke lasted too
long. The joke thing was weird. I liked him straight up calling her out about never being in love. I liked the fact that he said that to her because
we'll get
gotcha.
to that.
Okay.
So they gave the backstory of him and the arms dealer, and then they kind of drop it, and then throughout the movie, the entire second act, we don't hear about this ex-girlfriend ever again. And then they tease this person who wants to buy this weapon, and as a her, she's going to pay a lot for it. And then you get the visual cues that, oh, this person is an arms dealer. Oh, he used to date an arms dealer. This is her ex. So I thought that was interesting, the way they did that.
Yeah. And that's good because I didn't even pick up on it.
It was, I thought it was clever. So
no, I'm saying I'm glad that you said that because I agree that it's clever because I didn't even notice it.
Gotcha. There was one cliche in there that I didn't like. It was when they were getting back, meeting for the first time after the breakup, Agent M and Riza. They were having a conversation about the old times and the passion that they had for each other.
So Agent H and Riza.
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay.
And RZA says, "Tell me one thing." And I knew immediately what she wanted H to say to her. She was going to ask, "Was any of it real?"
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she said.
Yeah.
But that's a movie trope that involves spies and their targets.
Oh.
That's just so overplayed.
Yeah.
Like, every time that situation happens,
Yeah.
that line of dialogue comes up.
Yeah.
And it was just old.
I didn't think too much about that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it.
I knew it. It just, every time I hear it, it's like, oh my god, this is so predictable.
Yeah.
However, when it gets to her as a villain, she was a formidable physical opponent.
I mean, she was a secondary villain, so she didn't need to be that formidable.
She was in the way.
Gotcha. I mean, I don't think so, because I think that she needed to be there for us to get some information about H and who he is, because we had Agent M. Her name's Molly, but we had Agent M's backstory. It opened with that. We saw that, but I think we needed more on his love life and his life in general.
I did not need that at all.
It didn't need to be his love life, but we got introduction to Agent M, and we got like a little flashback with her and her parents, and we saw where she came from. So I think we needed to see some background on Agent H. So that's why I liked that they did that. It didn't seem random to me.
I don't think I said
You said
that
she was in
random.
the way.
She was in the... That's not
Gotcha.
random.
Oh, okay.
It's just useless.
Gotcha. It's kind of the same thing.
No? You could be intentionally useless. Not just randomly useless.
Oh my gosh.
The only backstory that I needed about H was he saved the world. He's an MiB agent. I don't care about what he does outside of the office.
I guess, yes, she was in the way. I still don't think she was in the way. I think what bothered me, though, was the insignificance of her reuniting with her friend. Did we mention
friend?
the little friend that she has at the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Did we ever talk about that in the review?
Yeah.
Okay, so her little friend that she meets at the beginning when her parents get their minds erased or whatever, like, she runs back into him. He is the bodyguard for RZA, and he decides to basically turn on RZA in favor of Agent M. And so I think I was disappointed with the fact that they didn't, like, you would think from the very beginning scene that he was going to come back and help her in a bigger way than he did. But they made it this, like, 2-second thing. Now, I'm not saying I wanted to see that because I wasn't interested in that plot line at all. But the fact that they, like, it was kind of like what you were talking about with the other thing being resolved too soon. Mm-hmm. They did the same thing with that little blue guy. Like, he came back into the story as, like, a cheeky, like, hey, remember this guy? But then they just dropped it like it didn't matter. But anyways, back to RZA. What were you saying?
It's interesting you bring that up because that kind of ties into what I'm saying about RZA.
That's what I thought. That's why I interjected with that.
So, yeah, that's a perfect point to make when we're talking about RZA, because they set up something that could have, been a lot more in this alien that she meets in the first scene. And we don't see that alien ever again until now. And it's 20 years later in movie time. But they recognize each other. They share this phrase that was also uttered at the beginning of the movie. And that phrase is the turning point for this fight that's being had between RZA, Agent M, H, and this alien. Well, RZA's an alien too, but this other alien. So, in the resolution of this fight, they also resolved why the alien was in the movie in the first place. Was literally only to end the fight later with RZA.
Oh, so you're saying that, like, what if RZA didn't need to be there, which you don't think she did, then the alien didn't need to be there from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
So both of those two things.
Yeah, because, like, they used that alien that she met as a device for defeating RZA, but I guess that was kind of my problem with it. I wanted the alien to come back and like pal around with her a little bit, but they just used him once again for this thing that didn't need to be happening in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, on to why I liked Rizzo though, and that I liked that storyline. So I was gonna say this earlier, when they were talking by the motorcycle in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
When he was talking, they were talking about love, and she was kind of like ripping him or like kind of messing with him, ribbing. That's what I was trying to say. When she was kind of ribbing him for like being dramatic with his love life or whatever, and then he literally like shuts her down by being like, yeah, because you've never been in love. And I love the fact that he just like slam dunked her though. I know that like maybe you didn't think that was that funny, but not only did I think it was funny, I also thought it was just awesome because she was like ridiculing this thing that she didn't know about or understand, and he was just like, shut up, you're stupid. Like, and I loved that.
I don't think that had a place in this movie. This movie didn't know what kind of tone it wanted to set.
Gotcha.
So it was trying to be charming, and it was trying to be romantic, but that wasn't the kind of movie that this was.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of touched on it just now.
Most movies, even if they're not that kind of movie, they have that element in them. It's very hard to not have some romantic thread in a movie.
Right, a romantic thread. That was 3 lines of dialogue. We already talked about how Rizzo really didn't matter.
No. I mean, like, I think. Well, okay, so now
it wasn't a theme. It was just them talking.
I know what you're saying, but now I want to ask you: was there any, and if not, was there supposed to be any romantic relationship between Agent M and Agent H, or were they just friends?
They were friends.
Oh, okay, because I couldn't tell, and so I thought. And this didn't happen, but I thought that motorcycle scene was lead up to her eventually falling in love with him, because I thought that he was gonna be like, you've never fallen in love and you don't understand, and then she was gonna be like, oh, I understand now because I see you with Rizza, but that didn't happen.
So here's there are a couple of things. The movie sets up pretty clearly and pretty early that she isn't interested in that period.
Oh yeah, that she's not interested in relationships at all. Yeah.
Also, because they set that up so early, like immediately,
yeah,
I think the movie would have been even worse, and probably even worse received by audiences. And I don't know how well received they've been yet, but if all of a sudden at the end of the movie she falls for this guy, that would have been terrible character.
Well, I guess that's the thing. That was why I am apparently like inept at noticing that stuff, because at the end, and I'm going to talk about something that we'll get to later because I don't want to spend time on it right now, but at the end when they have to separate, like, I couldn't tell if that was like, oh, I'm losing my buddy, or if it was like, oh, I kind of thought that there was going to be something with this guy. So you think it was just that she was losing her friend?
Yeah, they were partners for that whole thing.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Also, something O says to M at the end there, I couldn't make it out. Again, the accents. She says something, there's a cost. And then the movie pans back to Agent...
Yeah, the cost was that she's not going to be his partner anymore. Like, she was saying, like, you're going to have to give your friendship up to do this. That's what she was saying. That maybe that wasn't enough cost for you.
No.
That's what she was saying.
I mean... Duh.
And, I mean, I think it was also to parallel, like... She's losing Agent H, and the woman lost Agent T.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I was beginning to think that, even when I was in the theater struggling to remember what she said and then try to understand why she said it, I began tilting toward her talking about Agent T and the cost.
Yeah.
In that aspect. So that's probably what that was.
So, really quick, though, I did not like... I felt like their actual real plot twist involving the mole was unearned. Well, it was earned, and then they went back on it. And this is what I'll say about that. So basically, toward the end of the movie, you find out that Agent T, who is the head of this entire the Men in Black organization, you find out that he actually ends up being the mole in this whole situation that they've been kind of trying to track down throughout the whole movie. But then you find out that he's actually just been taken over by the Hive, and that he actually isn't a mole. He was just an alien, and that he had been taken over, even though there was a little bit of him still left in there, and that little bit of him turns against the hive in a sense and saves the day. So what?
That's not what happened.
Well, he didn't save the day, but he gave pause to that moment, which then gave the opening for them to fix everything.
I don't think so.
Because they grabbed that crystal, the weapon, at once he, like, his eyes lit up.
You're right.
So, I mean, him being in there still is what kind of saved everything to a certain extent. And so I felt like they kind of doubled back on their plot twist, because they were like, oh, okay, he's the mole. He actually was pretending to be a good guy even though he's a bad guy. And they're like, oh, no, he's just possessed by this alien. So he didn't have to take the blow to his character because he ended up just being taken over by an alien. But so that's why I kind of felt like they didn't earn that plot twist, or they did earn it and then they gave it back.
So I also thought that was odd, and here's why. When they talked about the hive a couple of times, and how they describe the hive is it takes over from the inside. It doesn't really say specifically that it goes into a person and creates a shell and becomes that person.
See, I'm gonna jump in really quick because I agree with you. That didn't make sense to me either, because the hive, like, when you see them obliterate those twins that they took over, well, actually they weren't even twins.
That
they
wasn't
made
the
themselves.
hive.
Oh,
They
never
were
mind. Yeah,
different
never
races.
mind. Sorry. We had a whole, like, 6 minutes on that. I don't know how I forgot.
Hilarious. So also in the trailer, and there was a lot of in the trailer that was either in a different spot in the movie or not in the movie at all. In several trailers. The trailer, and it may have been in the movie and I don't remember, but the trailer says something to the effect of the hive can be anybody, even one of our own people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if that's in the movie. If it is, I wasn't paying attention. But that's literally the crux of this movie.
Yeah.
The hive can be anybody, even one of our own people. And it was literally the head of the organization.
Yeah.
So the movie doesn't go into that anymore, saying that, giving us examples leading up to, oh, the hive literally can physically infiltrate.
Yeah.
It just says you can be anybody and destroy from within and things like that. And I guess the context says, yeah, that's kind of what they do, but that literally means anything.
Another point on that is that doesn't seem like a power that's unique to the hive, because when she first got there, they were like, oh, some people like to pretend to be aliens, some people like to pretend to be humans, and they kind of mix and match or whatever. So it seems like all of them have this kind of, like, transformative ability to some extent. I don't think we saw any of them use it, but, like, their description of what the agents do seemed like they had that capability.
So why was it special for the hive?
That's what I'm saying.
And then the question becomes, what if you're not afraid of those types of people and their disguises? How are you going to tell who the hive are and what their intentions
Exactly.
are?
Yeah, that didn't make sense. Also, like, it seemed weird that, like, I mean, I guess, we were supposed to assume that they had reconciled with most of the aliens and they were working with them or whatever, but I don't understand why the hive was the only, like, malevolent force in this world or in this universe, whatever. Like, it just seemed, I mean, it's fine, they needed a central villain, but it just seemed kind of odd that nothing else was bad in the movie.
Kind of like the villains in Dark Phoenix.
Sort of, but
Hold on,
like,
wait, let me finish my
Sorry,
thought.
sorry.
I didn't say they are kind of, I was like, similar to,
yes,
and this is how. So let me get to the this is how part.
All right.
Similar to the villains in Dark Phoenix, the motivations didn't really make sense. and I said this at the beginning, didn't have consequences. They wanted to take over, but why?
Yes, okay, you're right. I had no idea why the Hive was doing anything that
Yeah.
they were doing. Like,
And from
it was like they were evil because evil.
Yeah.
Like, that was it.
and
Like,
from what I could tell, they were just a giant spore
yeah,
in a wormhole.
yeah.
I don't.
Also, like, it was, so here's another thing that I thought was weird, and I was actually kind of excited by, and then it, like, didn't even almost happen. So, when she gets sucked into that wormhole for, like, 2 seconds,
yeah.
I was like, and it says, like, you're supposed to be here at the exact moment, at the exact time, or whatever. I thought she was about to find something in that wormhole, or that she was about to battle something in there. But no, all it was is that her little friend was there to save her.
Yeah, it wasn't talking about her at all.
I know, that's what I was saying. I was like the way that, like, the expression on her face and everything, like, it's like, oh, she's, like, fated to be right here.
No,
and
she's
it's
not.
like, no, you're fated to almost die, and your friend is fated to be there to save you. Like, did you not catch that?
No, not till just now. This movie is so bad. Also, though, speaking of Pawnee, which is her little friend's name.
Yeah. Because he's a pawn in the game, which is funny.
I can't deal with it. I don't know if you remember, but Agent H&M's first interaction with Pawnee, he shoots this gun, and it blows a hole in the wall behind them. You remember that?
I don't remember. Yeah, actually, they
gun.
seemed very formidable. Like, they had a whole, like...
This tiny chess piece
Yeah.
had a gun that destroyed a piece of a wall, and we never see that again. Wait,
Maybe it was because the queen died.
it was after. It was after the queen died.
Yeah, you're right.
So, when she's flying, forget all of the other people they ran into that he could have shot.
Yeah.
When they're flying into this wormhole, and he pulls out his gun, I'm thinking, finally, we're going to see him blow a hole in something again. He shoots a grappling hook like he's Batman, and then grabs her wrist like he's Spider-Man, and then turns around, shoots another gun that he just got at the floor like he's Batman again, and then he retracts it like he's Batman. Like, why? That's how they escape. That's how they escape a wormhole.
Right.
I wanted to say to you in the theater, that's not how space works.
Right.
But she was in a wormhole breathing.
Yeah.
So.
And you've already been angry
Oh, my
enough
goodness.
about the inconsistency of space and reality.
I think I've been, for all the ridiculous things I've said about this movie, keep in mind, I did give it a lot of leeway because it is Men in Black dealing with aliens.
Gotcha.
So all the terrible things that I've been saying
Yeah.
is me taking it down a notch.
Yeah.
Because it's Men in Black.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how bad this movie is.
No, I know
That's
what you
all
mean. I had a point that I wanted to get to.
Well, while you remember it, I'll say
Okay.
this.
You're so riled up right now.
I said that's how bad this movie is. It's not a terrible movie.
I mean,
It's
Men
an
in Black
okay
movies are
movie.
campy and weird.
I like the first one.
Gotcha.
And actually, that's the only
No, I'm
one
not
of the
saying it's a
series that I
bad thing.
like.
I'm just saying that, to me, this tone matched a modern version. Well,
That's the problem that I had
gotcha.
with this movie.
But, okay, here's what I will say. Is I understand your frustration, but I'm going to compare it to something way more egregious, and that is that awful Jumanji remake. If you compare this, I think that they were way closer on tone, and their modernization of it was better than that dumpster fire. Like,
So, I am going to agree with you in this aspect. For the very reasons you just listed, I have still not seen that movie.
oh, you haven't seen it?
No,
Oh, okay.
and I refuse to.
Gotcha.
Because no, that's just not okay. There's another one coming out. Did you know that?
No.
There's a sequel to this movie.
That makes me so mad.
It's ridiculous. So yes, that egregious pile of nonsense should not have been made. And if we're gonna compare that to this egregious pile of nonsense that should not have been made, it's much better. And again, I don't believe that the movie's bad. It's probably a 7 or an 8 even.
Yeah.
For the kind of movie that it is.
Don't get ahead of yourself. But
Don't get ahead of yourself.
we're gonna get to the ratings at the end. It'll be fine. I just wanted to make sure you didn't give a number before you were finished. I guess that's what I did last time, and I stuck with my number. But I was just I know that you are very you're in a weird space right now, so I'm gonna let you be in that space, and then you're gonna give your number at the end.
This movie, I don't know if having different main leads would have been different. Like, I don't know how the story would have played out. I don't know how the chemistry would have been, because with the original Men in Black, Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith, they had never been on screen together before that.
Yeah.
And because of the level of talent that each of them had, they were able to create this pairing that worked for the movie. And this one, again, they're just coming off of Avengers and Thor Ragnarok. So they already have chemistry. They already know each other. They know how to interact.
Like from an
and things
audience
like that.
perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean just like
No, the actors
two
themselves,
actors already
yeah.
know each other. Okay.
But also at the same time, as a moviegoer, I've seen them.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was getting at.
So when I saw them, again, it was just Thor and Valkyrie up
Yeah.
on screen.
I mean, I will say that I was able to separate the two universes. Like, that only bothered me for a little while. They did a good job of grounding me in this movie, I think.
Agent M, I was able to somewhat separate her because she didn't sound exactly the same.
I don't think
Agent
Chris
H-
Hemsworth can
oh.
change his voice.
That's unfortunate because that makes this movie terrible. That's what I'm saying. He sounds exactly
I mean, there are
like
just some
Thor.
actors who can't do that, or
But
just don't.
if you
do
are
that.
such an iconic person,
Gotcha.
then you can't be in anything else.
Well,
I'm
but
sorry.
like Will Smith, though, he tries to change
he's not a
his accent
superhero.
and
He's
stuff.
not. He doesn't have a single character.
Oh, okay,
Who we've
gotcha.
known for 10 years.
But I mean, it still bothers me
tries to
that
be someone
he
else.
is the same in every movie that you watch, because you see him in so many different things, like all the things, and he's always the same. And I think that's why I can't do that, because like,
Is he though?
I think so. Even like, think about his movie Concussion, right, where he's doing
I didn't
that
see that
accent.
movie.
And well, just think about the trailers
Mm-hmm.
when I don't even think I've seen it, but like, it just seems like no matter what accent he does, no matter what the subject matter of the movie, he always just seems like the same person. Sometimes he's more serious, sometimes he's lighter, but like, he's always just Will Smith.
I think you are just salty because you can't be Will Smith.
No.
I think that's what that is.
That's really
I think
not.
You're just jealous.
I even have the hair right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Right? He looks exactly like Fresh Prince right now.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm just over Will Smith. But anyways, continue.
What was I saying? Thor, Chris Hemsworth, Agent H, they all sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I couldn't separate that. And even there was a scene where he has his shirt off, and I'm thinking, yep, that's Thor. He's still huge.
I mean, maybe the movie knew that people weren't going to be able to separate them, and that's why they did the stupid hammer thing.
Then cast a different actor. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha.
Put somebody else in the
Yeah,
movie.
I'm not really sure why they made those two decisions, or in conjunction at least. I that was weird, but
I know why they did it. They did it to sell tickets.
oh well, yeah,
They did it for the exact same reason I'm railing against it.
gotcha. Okay,
Those two faces are familiar. We know
Yeah.
who those people are. They were just in the most ever sold movie a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So that's why they did it. However, does it make sense? Is it going to work from what I saw in the theater and the 12 other people that were in there? I don't know.
gotcha. The 12 other people.
There
weren't very many people in there. But yeah, I think I know what you mean. It's just, I think, no, there's nothing more to say because I agree with you. But I'm trying to think what other things. Okay, so when it comes to now that we've established that there was no romantic relationship between Agent H and Agent M, now I'm kind of wondering, like, because I think that makes me like his thing with RZA more, because I think that there needed to be some teaching moment for Agent M about the fact that she may not be right about shutting the world out and not wanting a relationship and stuff like that. Now, she didn't need to succumb to that. She didn't need to change her mind. But I think that her sense of being above that stuff needed to be challenged. And I think that her seeing his relationship with RZA helped with that.
So,
because I mean, I think that was what gave her appreciation for at least her friendship with Agent H at the end.
This is where you and I will differ as it comes to movies and character arcs. I don't care about any of that.
Okay, yeah. That's so. We've discussed this many times, but you, for anyone listening, you don't care about relationships in movies. You like the story, and you like the consequences and all of that's happening.
Yes.
I love the characters, and I love the character motivations and their relationships with each other. So that's why I see movies. He sees movies for a completely different reason, and therefore we always disagree on anything that comes down to that.
However, if the relationship
is established,
it is a part of the movie.
Gotcha.
Is
you
a
felt
part
like this
of the
one,
motivation.
Gotcha.
It's a part of the plot.
Gotcha. So this thing with the thing with RZA had nothing to do with anything.
Nothing to do with anything.
It was, like I said, though.
I also disagree that it had anything to do, or needed to have anything to do with her character growth.
Yeah. Now, yes, it didn't need to, but I think that's what they were doing.
If that's what they were doing, they did a poor job of
Gotcha.
it. Because it was a throwaway. Like, again, it was a few seconds in 2 scenes, but it didn't mean anything. Again, there were no consequences to that. How did she change? What did she learn?
I think,
what were the consequences of her not having learned anything?
They didn't give us any reason to care about that change, basically. Like, they showed I saw the change, but you're right. They didn't show the significance of it at all. And the fact that it was so unnoticeable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you on that. I think though yes, I concede that we're not going to agree on this, but I will say, and I will stand by this, I just loved him shutting her down the way that he did. I thought that was really well done, and because I have had conversations like that, so I just like the fact that they kind of defended the sappy, like, hopeless romantics of the world.
I have never had a conversation like that. Here's why. I've got other things to do. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is that I'm doing, but I'm gonna go do those things and not talk to you about what are we talking about? Go sit down somewhere.
Yeah, but no, there are people in the world, and like
I'm one of those people.
No, that's not what I'm saying. There are people in the world who benefit from you telling them that stuff, because I have had many conversations with people, and they've like changed after that.
So here's the thing, and we've had this conversation before, and you don't understand it for some reason. But I'm an adult. Hold on, I am who I'm going to be for the rest of my life. There's nothing that anyone can say to me right now.
I know,
but that's going to change.
But that's just you. That's
I know.
not.
That's
I'm not.
So that's what I'm saying. My point of view is different. Like,
Gotcha.
Everything you've just said.
No. I understand.
I don't care.
I understand that you aren't like that. All I'm saying is that's why I liked that it was in the movie.
And I'm
because
say
people
this.
like
Hold
me
on. Yeah.
need that stuff.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what's wrong with the world. There are people like you.
We all need somebody
to murder me. Should be the lines of that song.
This is what I believe. Like, this is my religion, basically. Love will heal the world. That is just what I think.
Okay, here's the problem with that. Michael Jackson's dead.
There are other people who love than Michael Jackson.
No, he was the only
Michael
one.
Jackson does not have a monopoly on love.
He does. He had it. And then a doctor took it away from him.
He also had, like, 5-year-olds sleeping with him. So.
You don't know that. That was never proven. He was actually still in court, and then the doctor killed him.
What
I
love in all of humanity is people defending that about Michael Jackson.
I don't know if I'm defending it. I'm just saying we have a court system. Innocent until proven guilty.
Oh my god.
He was never proven guilty.
He died too soon.
No, I don't think the courts ever said, "Hey, you did this."
But anyways, I just think there are people who benefit from that type of thinking, and I know that I definitely do, and I like when that stuff's in movies because it doesn't happen that often, because people that like are really like romantic and sappy just kind of get crapped on in every movie that exists. And I like the fact that they changed it up in this one, and they were like, yeah, some of us are okay people, like it's fine, we like love, and that's okay.
So what about the other people who don't care about that? What about her? Like she
Yeah,
has lived her entire life.
For one time,
okay.
one of those people got pimp slapped, and it was fine.
No,
like,
wait. It's okay to pimp slap one person because everybody else, the opposite spectrum, is getting pimp slapped? That's not how it works. That person still got slapped. How can you condone that? You are the worst.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm glad that it happened, and like you said, you didn't think that it had a place in the movie. I still do. I liked the relationship with him and RZA. I liked even the chemistry between them was cool. Like what they were even talking about was cool, especially given the fact that they told us before, because like she asked if it's real or whatever, but like they told us before that it was real. We didn't need to have him explain it to her because we already knew.
We didn't need it at all. is my point.
I don't know. I like cutesy stuff.
Again, it was a joke to me in this movie.
Yeah.
If they wanted that kind of conversation, that kind of theme, that kind of character arc to be a part of the movie, then it should have been a part of the movie and not random plot devices.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, the movie was a series of random plot devices. It was none of the movie had a theme or a story, really.
And what I am saying is that all of that is terrible.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
You're shining light on this part of it.
Oh, so you're saying I'm focusing in on this one thing I liked, even though okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's all bad. So
like I picked the one cherry that was on the tree, basically.
Yeah, you were just picking the cherry, like I was doing with Storm. And
yeah, I know what you mean.
So I'm trying to think of, and I probably no, it doesn't matter. I can't think of a movie where the characters' interactions with each other was a part of the movie, and I liked the way that those characters grew and evolved in that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of one. I'm sure that I've seen one. I'm sure that I've seen a few of them.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any right now. Because that's usually how it goes. You try to prove a point that says you're not a terrible person, and you can't. So I'm just going to be a terrible person right now.
Here's an example. And I mean, I guess this isn't... So this character has this moment twice. But you're gonna hate me. But Tony Stark, Pepper Potts, and Peter Parker, I love that both of them are two PP names, but both of them show Tony his humanity. Like I guess he loved his parents too, but like he was closed off to the world. He didn't care about anyone but himself. He was like braggadocious and like this douchebag. And then Pepper and Peter like softened him, and like you saw that in the last couple of movies. Like I guess his daughter too. We didn't know anything about his daughter. Like she was a nothing character that didn't need to be in the movie. But
no, she did.
So he could say "I love you 3000." That was all that happened with her. Like
so, I don't know how this is different, but it is. I love that.
Really?
Yeah, because that child said something that she heard. It may be that 3,000 was the highest number she's ever heard of. And she probably heard or had some kind of context for the value of a number being really high.
No, I completely understand that.
So it was cute for this child to say that, to put all of that together.
Hold
on,
okay.
Wait.
Oh my gosh.
And then Tony says, as if he isn't really impressed by the number 3,000. He's a genius. He's a mathematical genius. But he looks at her and he goes, 3,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna scale it down for you because you're a little baby. Like I get
right,
it.
and he's gonna get down to her level and say, "That's a really big number. You must really mean that." And then she gets that warm fuzzy, like, "Yeah, he understands." And then that joke continues when he says it to Pepper Potts, like, hey, she loves me 3,000.
Yeah.
You're in the like.
And he says it again
range.
at the end. Yeah.
So that was awesome because I guess it was because it was a child. It was his daughter, and that was a moment that was carried throughout the movie that really connected those two.
Can I say really quick now? Can I speak now?
If you want.
I don't care about that because that girl said 3 things in that movie. Like she didn't need to be in that movie at all.
Wait, hold on.
She was not a part of the movie. Like
wait, hold on. When you talk about Tony Stark having been humanized, him having a daughter and having that connection to his daughter,
this daughter that no one knew anything about. Did she exist in any of the other movies?
Hold on. She existed in Infinity War. Remember at the beginning when Tony has his dream about them having a kid?
Yeah.
And like, you can name it after your eccentric uncle, and I forget what the uncle name was. Moria.
Did she exist, or did the idea of her exist?
That was it. That was her existing.
No. She was not conceived.
I can't deal with you.
Also, like, that dream of him having a child was more about his relationship with Spider-Man. And about how he was his, like, surrogate father, basically. No. That's what I read that as.
That's fine, because it was a girl.
It has nothing to do with that.
Morgan.
Like, in Infinity War...
a girl named Morgan.
That's fine. In Infinity War, though, that was to serve about his relationship with Peter Parker.
Why?
And then in the next movie, they were like...
Why?
I mean, I don't know. That's just what everyone that I've seen thinks of it as.
So, you remember...
And also
me. Hold on, remember the
That's
last
how
one?
I interpreted
remember
it.
The last one?
You don't like the zeitgeist? Oh my gosh.
You're going to compile all these opinions of other people.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
just saying, the collective consciousness has agreed.
Exactly. That's the problem. Think for yourself, Nick.
No, we're all thinking together.
I know.
We're
think for yourself.
No, I think for myself, and then I inject it into the consciousness.
You're like, oh, hey, consciousness.
No,
I need some thoughts.
I thought that before.
Thank you. Oh, now I'm thinking it.
No.
Now it's before.
That's how we find things, though. We think something, and then we go looking for it to see if anyone agrees, and then we're... No, I'm just saying, that's how it works.
No, that's not
how you get the girl.
That's not how... You don't do that.
Do you know what I was talking about? That's a Taylor Swift song.
Why would I... Really? Dumbest question ever.
No, all I'm saying is I came up with that. I thought that on my own. I went to have it reaffirmed on the internet, and it happened.
Here's what I'll say to that. When I think of an idea, I am confident in that idea being my own idea and not caring that anybody else thought.
Oh, no, that's fine. But I love the collective consciousness, and I love being tapped into it. Like, it's literally like diving into an ocean of yourself.
I hate it so much.
It makes you feel at one with everything.
But I don't like mob mentality. I don't like hive mentality. I don't like any of it.
Seriously, you know why I like hive? You know why I like the idea?
It destroys individuality.
Do you know why
no one person is a one person anymore.
Here's why I love the hive mind. Is because if you get enough followers, you get to be the queen, and it's awesome.
I don't want to be a queen.
Well, I mean, there's no kings in hive minds, so you have to settle for the queen.
Oh, so I can set it on fire. That's what you're saying.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
What are we even talking about?
We got so far off track. First of all, when we started talking about Tony Stark, I was like, we need to make sure that we get back to MiB. And then we started talking about the zeitgeist. And then we started talking about hive minds. But the hive mind was the central part of this movie, and now we're back. Full circle.
Are we still talking about Thanos? That was another part that I went back and listened to. Oh god, that's so funny.
Actually went back and listened to that part, but it was because I was like ashamed and like wanted to hear you troll me. Oh my gosh, it was actually hard for me to listen to because I was being so stupid. Okay, we're gonna get back, and I'm probably gonna cut. You're gonna need to cut a lot of this out because a lot of it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know if I can though. We'll need like a software, I think.
Gotcha.
Because every app that I downloaded wouldn't work correctly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay. I guess we should start wrapping this up.
All right. So I was expecting a reboot or a remake, but it wasn't that at all. It was. I want to say it was a continuation because there was a single callback to the original MIB in the form of a poster in one of the offices, and it was Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith fighting that big cockroach.
Okay.
Some of the iconic scenes that I thought were going to be in there but weren't were the getting the small then bigger gun, a more drawn out neuralizer scene explaining what it was. We need to talk about the neuralizer.
What's the neuralizer? Oh yeah. Sorry, I was dumb.
It made no sense in this movie.
Yeah, no, they kept doing stupid stuff with it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the very first scene where they used the neuralizer and every dumb scene after that, because I'm sorry, I just turned into a huge a-hole. But so when they first used the neuralizer, actually no, it's the second time, because the first time they used it, it worked fine. But the second time they ever used the neuralizer, Agent H neuralizes some people who are about to get engaged, basically, on this rooftop. They start talking to these people. They interrupt his proposal and say, hey, here we are, we're alien hunters, there are these aliens that are about to show up, so now we have to neuralize you, and close your eyes or open your eyes, whatever. And they neuralize them, and they're like, then they gave some excuse for why they can't be on the rooftop anymore, and that it's going to be like maintenance or whatever is going to happen on this rooftop, and they need to leave. And so why didn't they just say that from the beginning? Why did they explain, hey, we're these alien hunters, just so that they can then neuralize them? Because if they had just said what they said afterward from the beginning, they wouldn't have had to erase their minds at all. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. And they did that multiple times throughout the movie.
In that particular scene, it's actually even more urgent for them to have said what they said second in the first place.
Yeah, that would have saved them, like...
It was the Eiffel Tower. They knew they wasn't supposed to be up there in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So, get down from the Eiffel Tower is all they had to say. That would have been it.
They should, like, seriously, they could have been like, knock knock, you know what's happening, like, you can't be up there. Like, go, literally, I hate when people say this, but go sit down.
Go sit down.
Like,
get off of the Eiffel Tower. How would you even get up here?
Ladies and gentlemen, can you exit the Eiffel Tower, please?
Right? Something.
Now, to be fair, though, like, in a real life situation, if you walk in on that and you're like, oh, okay, he's proposing, I'll wait for him to do that, then I'll tell them to leave. I mean, that's what I would do if I was a decent human being.
However, the circumstance...
No, yeah, I know, I understand. I guess I was talking about us being humans for a second, not being in this movie. But anyways, yeah, the circumstances for this did not make sense for them to do that. But I to my point, though, like, I don't remember what the second time was that they did it.
Oh, they did it 3 times.
No, not just in that scene. Even with another pairing of people, they did it. And I don't remember when it was, but they explained something to them, then neuralized them. And I was like, you didn't have to do that.
With Molly's parents. That raccoon walked up.
Yeah, maybe that was the other time.
They explain that this alien is whatever kind of species it is and what it's doing and give it all the stats. And then they neuralize the parents, and then say, oh, it was a raccoon. Make sure your garbage cans are laser
like,
closed.
they literally, and like the people, like her parents went out there thinking that they were animal control. Yeah. So why did they say, no, we're not animal control, here's what we're actually doing, neuralize, oh, we're animal control again, and that was a raccoon. Like, literally didn't make any sense. And that's not even a nitpick, that's just something that, like, that was a big plot point that didn't make sense.
And I think this happens in the original series, or even the first movie, but there's a scene where they're in the desert on that hover bike, and they had just come down into the crowd, and there are all these people looking at them, and H pulls out his glasses and his nebulizer.
Oh, I didn't know I turned this on.
And is about to neuralize these people. And he starts talking as if he's going to give the backstory. Well, Agent M takes it out of his hand and says, just drive, and flashes in front of her and flashes in behind her, and they drive off. Like, all these people just lost their
Yeah,
memory and
yeah.
get no story.
Yeah, that was weird.
Really?
Also, I was like, that gives credit to your point earlier about why didn't Molly get her mind erased? Because I was thinking, oh, maybe the distance. But no, she did that to a bunch of people from very far away.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she didn't lose her memory. Although, this is something that I said during the movie, and I was like, this would be really cool. So we established that not the hive mind, but those other people can, like, take the form of your body or whatever after they kill you. So I suppose that maybe she had actually been an undercover alien the entire time and used that to infiltrate the Men in Black. Now, I understand that because she was the protagonist of the movie, they wouldn't have wanted to go in that direction, but I think that would have been an actual cool plot twist that they could have done.
It would have been much better than the Liam Neeson thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I would have, like, I mean, I guess I thought of it really early on, but I think that that's something a lot of people wouldn't have expected.
I also
would
have accepted if Agent H.
Yeah, even
because
that
they
seemed
kept
obvious
saying,
too, but
where did that person go? You've changed.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because when I was okay with the fact that he didn't turn out being the mole or being an alien, but they didn't explain the him changing part.
Yeah.
They didn't explain why the creature felt that way about him. And I didn't see any, unless it was because of his breakup or something, but, like, I don't know what changed in him. Like, it doesn't matter what the change was necessarily. It was just like, we didn't see him prior.
I
so
know,
we
I know
can't.
what it was.
What was it?
Before Agent H became Agent H, he was probably just a regular guy, a regular agent, probably an average agent.
Oh, so
but
we're to
because
assume
he
that
got
alien
neuralized and was told, he was fed that ego.
Gotcha.
That he saved the world.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's the change what we're talking about.
Okay, but once again, that was a really small detail that kind of got brushed under the rug, and so I didn't. I mean, it was a big plot point, but if you, like, that was that. Okay, so that the reveal of that twist at the end, I think, was overshadowed by the Liam Neeson twist. So I was thinking, oh, Liam Neeson's an alien, and that's all I was thinking about. Like, the tiny bit of information of him saving the world being fake. I mean, it kind of came up again when he told Liam Neeson about it, but even that was overshadowed by the fact that she was like, oh, that's not him. So I wasn't making the connection, and even still, I wouldn't have linked that back to the change at the beginning. I know that you're right, that is what it is, but I wouldn't have been able to pick up on that.
Fair enough.
And that's fine, but, and I mean, like, also, there's a point where they say that, like, oh, the ugly thing is dead, and he's like, no, that was my friend, and I was like, you didn't seem like you liked him that much. Like, you got him drunk, and you were just kind of using him. I don't know, I just thought,
ugly thing? Who said that?
The thing that gave her the thing.
Yeah.
Like, he was being super douchey to that dude, and I mean, I guess that's what happens. Like, they needed to do stuff for that organization, but
Hold hold the phone. Because I thought that was great characterization.
Really,
and you, the champion of characters and their feelings. Oh my goodness, you didn't see that. Like, I think that what we saw in that it was a very small window, I will admit that, but that was a glimpse of the person he was.
Oh,
or
the way that he was. Yeah.
real
Okay, you're right. I guess that does make sense. I guess all I was saying is, because, like, their relationship, he was being a little cheeky with him, but you could tell that they were friends. Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
Throughout up to that point, he tells a lot of stories about his partying days with this person, but he was really a protector of this person. Like, he was an informant, this alien.
Yeah.
Is an informant for the MiB, and he was his handler.
Gotcha.
So they hung out all the time.
Okay, I missed that too. Okay. I didn't realize that he was his handler, that he was in... all of that went over my head. Yeah, because
he kept listing all these parties they were at, but he would also list a bunch of different countries.
Gotcha.
So he was with him whenever he came to Earth.
Oh, okay. So my point about how I felt like I didn't know that they were close friends. I didn't know. I missed all of that stuff.
Fair.
So like, cause when he defends him at the end, he's like, "Oh, that was a really close friend of mine." I didn't pick up on all of that stuff. So that's why that line seemed really random to me.
Gotcha. So overall, I'd say the movie achieved what it wanted to. It put MIB back on the screen. I think Men in Black 3 was a disappointment. Not a lot of people received that one very well. That story was kind of weak, yeah.
So
it had Josh Brolin.
Oh, really?
As a young Agent K.
How old is Josh Brolin? I thought he was still.
He was Thanos.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't.
He might be 50. I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. I didn't really quite know how old the Men in Black movies were.
Oh, I think this one just came
Liam
out
Neeson
like 5 or
doesn't.
6 years ago.
Oh, okay. Because Liam Neeson doesn't look that old.
Liam Neeson's in his 60s.
I know, but like he's a fox for someone that, and I don't go there. So like me saying that is something.
Yeah.
Because
fair.
Yeah, right. That's
fair.
He's decent looking for someone that old.
That's fair. So they put Men in Black back on the big screen, and I don't know what plans they have for sequels, but I don't think I'd mind if another one came out.
Gotcha.
All in all, it was a pretty self-contained story. There was resolution to the plot and the conflict that they presented. The main one, anyway.
I'll agree that if I had never seen any other Men in Black movies, they didn't exist at all, I could have seen this one and been fine with it. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, it was a fine standalone movie, even if you've never seen Men in Black before. So I'll try to rate it based on that then, because in reality,
I mean that's what we tried to do with Dark Phoenix too. We didn't want to compare it.
Mine was.
Yeah, I think you kind of had to compare that one.
My lower score at first was because of all the nonsense.
Yeah.
So, but for this one, I'd give it a solid 7. It wasn't terrible, and it wasn't great. I'm not clamoring to go back to see it. I'll probably catch it when it comes on Blu-ray.
I'm glad that you said that.
That's what happens.
I'm going to jump in on that because I liked what you said about you're not clamoring to go back and see it, because when I had to take that bathroom break, I was frustrated because I was like, I don't really want to see this movie. So if I have to go to the bathroom, I might have to see this movie again. And so like it's not that I hated the movie, it's just with most movies that I watched recently especially, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll probably watch this a couple times. So if I miss something, it's not that big of a deal. But this time I was like, no, I need to stay because I don't want to come back. So, but anyways though, like overall, I did really like the movie. There was the weird stuff with the casting, but I can look past that. I'm not gonna lie, and this is gonna make me sound terrible, but I'm knocking it a good 0.5 off just because of that hammer scene. That hammer scene hurt my soul a little bit. I'm gonna go back up because I did like, honestly, and I don't want to get back into this, but I liked his relationship with RZA more than his relationship with H&M. But that said, I liked the character arcs overall. I liked they can't see you. I liked the relationship between Liam Neeson and Agent H. Even though it wasn't developed that much. Like, I mean, we kind of got that he really cared about him, but then at the end it was like, oh, I really care about him, and I was like, okay. But no, I like that relationship too. The random guy who they kind of like made us think was the mole, I was like, no, that's not the mole. So that was kind of an obvious thing that it was a route that I knew that they weren't going to take. So I will say that the movie didn't really take a lot of risks, and the risks that they did take didn't really work. So I will say, I think I'll give this movie a 6.3.
You and your diving scores. Gross.
That's how people rate movies. They don't just do a solid
hold on.
number all the time.
Okay, then mine is gonna be a 6.875.
Oh my gosh.
9 pi.
Oh my gosh, you are
And if you
You're
round
making
that
this
up,
really difficult.
it's a 7.
Can you round up pi?
Yeah.
What does it round up to?
3.
Wouldn't it be 4 actually?
No, it's 3.14.
You can't round, but you're rounding down.
But you can't round up, so you have to go down.
No, you can round up still, even if it's not on the second half.
No, you can't. I mean, you could. But that's not what it's called. That's not math. You can do whatever you want. That's not a thing.
I don't know. I thought rounding up just meant going up to the next highest number. I didn't think that you, like, if you're rounding, then you're supposed, like, if you're just rounding in general, then you go up or down. But if you want to round up, I think you can go up as high as you can until you get to the next number. If you want to round down from 6.9, that's a 6. Like, it just depends on the direction that you choose to go in.
I refuse to accept that.
I think
that may be a thing.
I think that's how it works, though.
Why? No.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Who does that? I want to round down.
I do that all the time.
A high number.
Because what happens then is, like, you can get way higher than you need to be, that you're supposed to be, because you're like, oh, rounding up, so I get a 7 instead of a 6.1. Like, that's what I would do.
No,
but
it's a 6.
Anyways, so yeah, 6.2 is what I'm sticking with, or did I say 6.3?
Let's check the tape. You said 6.3.
Okay.
And I said 6.7. Hold on. 6.8 is what I said.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's good. So, to average that, it's like a 6.5 or something like that.
Sure.
But yeah, so, all right, that was our review of MiB International. And overall, we thought it was fine. That's the conclusion that I'm coming to. And we'll see you next Thursday for Toy Story 4.